hard. You can't hear yourself. I mean, it looks funny. Anyway, Heather, that was incredible. Yeah. I really hope you submit it to Empower, because it needs to be out there for everybody to pick it up. So please do that. Yeah. And I want to thank Helen B. Generous and our couple and everybody who is playing with us during this month of February for our theme, setting our sights in 2020 with 2020 vision. It's really kind of fun when we all come together and just act silly for a while. Even though there's a serious message behind that, we can do it with fun and with love. Last week, our topic was 2020 hindsight, which was understanding backward and living forward. And that came really from Soren Kierkegaard's statement that life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. So we talked last week about the need to take a look back, to see in hindsight if we are carrying any beliefs that limit our being able to live fully. Because Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, tells us that God can do for us only what it can do through us. So if we are holding grudges or resentments, if we are harboring feelings of unworthiness, then we are blocking the flow of good in our lives by those very beliefs. We also talked about hindsight with the idea of connecting the dots, that yes, we've all had experiences in our life that is less than wonderful. But rather than focusing on them as singular events, to connect the dots and to see how even the worst situations have brought us to right here and right now. You know, as I look back and connect the dots, I bless those hurricanes that destroyed my house. Otherwise, I'd be living in Florida. So that's why I'm here. I'm here because of something horrendous, but it was those dots that brought me here. So it's 2020 hindsight. And today our topic is 2020 foresight, catching sight of what matters. And it's kind of a continuation, because having foresight simply means that we've considered some possible outcomes and we've made some provisions for them. You know, thinking it might rain, she had the foresight to pack an umbrella. Okay, that's foresight. You think about something that might possibly happen, and you try to make it happen. You try to make everything turn out right. I'm sorry, but today it's not about just foresight. It's about spiritual foresight, and that's the ability to sense and to use our inner wisdom that's not only infinite, but sees past our ego selves. It sees past our humanness, and it connects us with the wisdom of God. I received a birthday card yesterday from our practitioners, and in it was a little piece of paper with an excerpt of a poem called My Symphony by Transcendentalist William Ellery Channing. To live content with small means, to seek elegance rather than luxury, and refinement rather than fashion. In a word, to let the spiritual, unbidden, and unconscious grow up through the common. That is my symphony. And I thought, well, that's really what I mean by spiritual foresight. When we put our spiritual practices at the forefront of our day, and when we catch those things that truly matter in our lives, those things that are beyond, but often include the human, then what is that spiritual and sacred about us, about life itself, grows up through our common experiences. And then our common experiences take on a sense of the sacred. Like the little Zen saying, you know, before enlightenment, I chopped wood and carried water. After enlightenment, I chopped wood and carried water. So nothing changes, and yet everything changes, because everyday actions become spiritual practices. So we are living naturally from that place of spiritual foresight. And from that place, we see those things that the world does not see. Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is spread out upon the earth and men do not see it. And I think that that's what he meant when he says, seek ye first the kingdom. It's this kingdom, the kingdom that we can't see, but the kingdom that when we connect, something mystical and magical and miraculous happens. Mary Baker Eddy, who was founder of Christian Science, writes in Science and Health, by purifying human thought, this state of mind permeates with increased harmony all the minutiae of human affairs. It brings with it wonderful foresight, wisdom, and power. It unselfs the mortal purpose, gives steadiness to resolve, and success to endeavor. Through the accession of spirituality, God, the divine principle of Christian Science, literally governs the aims, ambitions, and acts of the scientist. The divine ruling gives prudence and energy. It banishes forever all envy, rival, evil thinking, evil speaking, and acting. So if you and I truly believe that the power of prayer and meditation purified our thoughts, increased our harmony in our life, made our way easy, brought us wisdom, power, and success, and banished all our negative thinking, speaking, and active, wouldn't we be the prayingest people in the world? I mean, wouldn't we, if we really believed it? It doesn't mean that we withdraw from the world to live forever in prayer, but it does mean that we take that with us wherever we go, seeing everything, even chopping wood, as holy. Mary Baker says something else. She says, we need not think that scientific foresight is mysterious. When we listen for God's voice as meekly as Noah did, Spirit will show us how to preserve our identity. When we rely on divine mind as resolutely as Joseph did, we shall share his economic genius. When, like Moses, we have implicit faith in divine justice, principle will liberate and lead us. Scientific foreseeing not only discerns the most useful ways to develop and expand human thought, giving it confidence and expectancy of good, but also serves to expose and nullify specific threats of destruction, deficiency, or domination. While Noah could not stop the flood, and Joseph did not avert the famine, they did not suffer from them. And in the case of Joseph, many others shared in that blessing. Jack Palmer was a member of our congregation for several years. He made his transition about 9 years ago. And he was a wonderful man. He gave very generously to our center. Matter of fact, the furniture that I have in my office, my desk, came from him. And he appeared to most people as kind of crusty. I really saw through that, and I found him delightful, and I saw in him a deep spirituality. And one day he said that he told me a story, that he and his wife were going to Japan, and I think it was with a group of educators, and it was to help start up a project of some kind. And as they were packing, something told him to pack a shovel. And his wife asked him, why on earth are you packing a shovel? And he said, I don't know. I just know I'm supposed to. Well, that was in 1995. And the group that he traveled with were there for a very short time when Japan experienced one of the worst earthquakes in its history. And Jack's shovel proved invaluable as they helped clean up the rubble. So when we let that spiritual, unbidden, unconscious grow up through the common, then we are intuitively guided. We have a spontaneous recognition of the right thing to do and the right time to do it, even if it flies in the face of logic. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said, unless we are engaged in spiritual and mental practice, we need not spend more than 30 minutes or an hour each day in meditation, but this amount of time is of immense value in our practical life, for it is here that we join the real to the ideal and we receive inspiration for action and guidance towards accomplishment. So it's from that intuitive wisdom that we do catch a glimpse of those things that really matter, those special attributes of love, of peace, joy, harmony, abundance. They're not only life-affirming, but they're powerful. And when we let ourselves be guided by those right thoughts, not only do we express life fully and freely, but we unconsciously invite other people to do the same. Our organization used to meet each summer at the Asilomar Conference Grounds in Pacific Grove, California. And one of those highlights of the conferences was the annual Sermon by the Sea, the talk given by Ernest Holmes at the close of each conference. And the last one he gave was in August of 1959, and then he made his transition the following April. But he began that talk in 1959 by saying, "Our religion is not something to be lived merely here at Asilomar, as much inspiration as we receive from it, but rather to take that consciousness which we have arrived at here back with us wherever activities we may be engaged in. I do not believe life is separated from its living anywhere." And he goes on, he says, "No person or organization can make the provision for that which is paramount, for that which is of the most stupendous importance, that out of the ranks of all of us, innumerable people shall grow up who have caught a vision, who shall have seen a glory, who shall have experienced God." And then he continues that talk with a series of statements that begin with, "Find me one person. Find me one person who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others, and I will find another Savior. Find me one person who no longer has any fear of the universe or of God or of man or of anything else, and you will have brought to me someone in whose presence we may sit, and fear shall vanish as clouds before the sun. Find me someone who has redeemed his own soul, and he shall become my Redeemer. Find me someone who has given all that he has in love, and I will have found the lover of my soul." Why? Because he will have revealed to me the nature of God and proved to me the possibility of all human souls. Find me one person who can get his own littleness out of the way, and he shall reveal to me the immeasurable magnitude of the universe in which I live. Find me one person who knows how to talk to God, and I shall walk with him through the woods, and everything will respond. The leaves of the trees will clap their hands, and the grass will grow soft under him. Find me one person who communes with cause and effect, and in the evening star will sing to him, and darkness will turn to light. And through him shall I be healed of loneliness forever. Find someone whose song is really celestial, because it is the outburst of the cosmic urge to sing, and I shall hear the music of the spheres." He was not talking about individual people in individual countries. He was talking about those qualities and attributes of God that sit within the heart of each and every one of us. And he was talking about you and me. He was talking about living our philosophy, not just reading it. About diving deep into the practices, not just skimming the surface. About developing our faith so that we trust life. We trust that God is good, and that good is constantly flowing to us, around us, and through us. And he says something at the end of the talk. And so I'd like to pretend that we're at Asilomar. Pretend that the waves of the ocean are lapping behind us, and this little 5'4" giant is talking to us. "You are religious science. I am not. I am only the one who put something together. I do not even take myself seriously, but I take what I am doing seriously. You are religious science. Our ministers, our teachers, our practitioners, our lay people. Find me 1,000 people in the world who know what religious science is and use it and live it. And I myself will live to see a new world, a new heaven, and a new earth right here. There is a cosmic power wrapped up in a cosmic consciousness that is equal to the vision which looses it. How important it is that each one of us, in our simple way, shall live from God, to God, with God, in God, and to each other. That is why we are here. And we are taking back with us, I trust, a vision and an inspiration that the living Spirit shall through us walk anew into its own creation, and a new glory come with a new dawn. You know, we're in the second week of our pledge campaign. We use skits that are light and fun, but the message is a serious one. It's a time not only to evaluate what our center means to us and how we support it financially, but it is also a time to evaluate what matters in our life. The vision we have is backed up by a cosmic consciousness that is equal to our vision. What is that vision? What is that vision individually? What is that vision as a whole? You know, the flyer about our campaign has several places that invites your participation, and I have some on the floor over there. I'll put them up here if you didn't get one from last week. And but several of these have been returned, and there's a consistent theme of expansion. You know, someone wrote a packed house on Sundays. Expansion of our music program. Expansion of our advertising so more people will know about it. Expansion even of our existing facilities. Some pretty big ideas. And I'd like for our dream to include ways our center can expand in consciousness as well. I would like for each one of us to carry forward Ernest Holmes' vision of a new world and a new heaven and a new earth. And I would like for you and me to see ourselves as those 1,000 people who know what religious science is and use it and live it. And I would like for us to take that consciousness of love, joy, abundance out into the world, to share it freely with everybody that we meet. And I'd like for us to know from that deepest place within us, that Spirit walks anew into its own creation, that through us, love is visible, life is beautiful. And as we let the spiritual, unbidden, unconscious grow up through the common, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish together. So let's set our sights in 2020 with that perfect 2020 vision, and together, let's take our miracles, accept our miracles, and let's dream big. Thank you very much. Namaste. Thank you.